What's up? We had a question today from Darren Kroutz, and he says, I have a question about nutrition. I'm concerned that I'm not getting enough protein for the amount of work I'm putting in. I take protein drink every day from the protein powder mixed in milk. On the hardest workout days, I will do 2 protein drinks. Is this okay, or should I add more? I'm open to any of your suggestions. Thank you, Darren. The question of how much protein you actually need to take is a little more complex than what most people would say. And here's why. If you're really going to make, if we were really going to make an estimate on how much protein you needed, we need to know, first of all, your lean muscle mass. Because, for example, if you try to prescribe someone how much protein they needed by their body weight, a lot of that might be fat, a lot of that might be bone density. So lean muscle mass is basically what's going to be consuming the protein or would need to consume the protein. So that's one thing that you would want to know. Another thing that you would want to know, and by the way, I'm going to give you another answer. You don't have to go do all this stuff. So another thing you would want to know is what your metabolic rate and your metabolic expenditure is, and how busy you are and how much you're working other than the workout. And another thing is, not everyone absorbs equally the protein they do eat or drink. Some people might take protein and they might just pass it on through, pee pee poo poo, right on through. And so that also happens. So my philosophy on protein, for people who say they have an exact science of how much protein, they say, oh, you weigh 150 pounds, we need to get so much per body weight, whatever, that might be a good guideline, and that's something that we give as well. And some people say, well, that's too much or whatever, but it's better to err on the side of too much protein than too little. We're telling people that they should get about a gram of protein per pound of body weight, and like we've already said, that is inconcise. It's not a precise way to do it. But unless you want to go do your hydrostatic weighing and tell us exactly what your lean body mass is so we can get even closer, it's a good guideline to go by. Excess protein is just going to be passed. So you're just going to pass it. Your body's going to pass it on out. So it's better to get too much protein than too little. And then you can err on the side of insanely too much, and maybe then you could be taxing your body in some way that I haven't seen before, nor have I really even heard of. You hear about bodybuilders who might hurt their liver from all the stuff they take, but these guys who are at high level bodybuilding are cranking on their bodies as far as diet's concerned. These guys are taking all sorts of stuff, massive amount of intake of food, massive amount of calories, potentially growth hormone and other chemicals. These guys are taking that's a whole nother level. So when you said that you were taking 2 protein shakes, Darren, what I would recommend is how much is in each protein shake, and also throughout the day, try and get protein every 3 hours. Try and get your body protein every 3 hours. And obviously at night you can't eat. Some people are so into it that they need to, they think they need to wake up in the middle of the night and take protein. Well, even for people doing the jump manual, your protein intake may be sufficient. So unless you're really taxing your body, you may not need to do something like that. But you could take a casein protein, which is slower releasing, slower absorbing in the body. So at night you could take a casein protein or milk protein, which will absorb during the night, so you don't feel the need to wake up and do the protein. So to answer your question, you use the guidelines that we give you in the jump manual and take your protein throughout the day. 150 grams of protein is going to be better taken little by little throughout the day than if you just drank one big 150 gram protein shake and then didn't have any more protein throughout the day. So I hope that answers your question and shed some light onto the protein diet scene, which I believe in the not so distant future we're going to be able to know how much protein your body's using, how much your muscles require, and all that kind of stuff so you can get more precise. But until then, we do have to take an educated guess. And one way to gauge if that's working is if you're gaining muscle quickly enough. So the only way you can really know that is by tracking your workouts, which we really emphasize. So anyways, hope that helps. If you have questions, let me know. Bye-bye.